What is going on, everyone? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be talking about the system mechanic and Goldlewis changes to try to figure out whether Goldlewis is going to come out of this patch a better character. First things first, let's go over the system changes that are relevant to Goldlewis, starting with the Jump S changes. So this move now triggers the counter effect. This will probably affect some kind of combo. This is not really what I'm worried about though. I think the next change is way cooler. So this can now be jump canceled, doesn't apply to Goldlewis, he only has one jump. But it can also be air dash canceled, so the implication of this is that if you get someone to block a JS in the air, you might be able to air dash afterwards, maybe hit a landing JH and then start your turn. This seems great. Add additional Gatling root with jump D. This sounds completely irrelevant. These other changes, I don't think really matter at all either. Being able to jump cancel from, being able to air dash cancel from HS or D. They don't sound like they would apply to Goldlewis very much, but you have to think about how other characters are going to be able to do this. So yeah, those kind of like jumping dash cancel pressure when you're in the corner, similar to what you see like a Kai do, when they like make you block an aerial move and then they double jump it and like they try to bait you out. Fortunately, this kind of pressure doesn't really work against Goldlewis because his 6P is really good at covering the kind of top-down approaches. Regardless, I don't expect any of these to be super relevant. Hopefully the JS change works the way that I think it will. But yeah, Goldlewis will not benefit from the JD Gatling. I'm happy for other characters though that can now do that. This is where we get into the real nitty gritty. This is kind of tough. So blocking, they changed blocking in general. You can no longer block in Guilty Gear Strive. Now you are forced to mash buttons. Not really. So what? Remove the increased block stun caused upon successful faultless defense. So this is kind of spooky because I like the 2 frames of buffer that I got like as a give and take situation for the defender. Of course, the blocking in this game, or I should say the defense in this game, mechanically, like the defense mechanics are very, very poor. So they decided, okay, maybe this shouldn't just be a give and take. It should just straight up be a guaranteed benefit. So this matters, but it shouldn't matter too much. It's just like it might be more of a mental thing. Usually 2 frames isn't going to matter when it comes to like pushback things. Usually it's going to come down to what move the other person challenged with. But of course this is going to, it is going to like definitely change the game, but it's not going to be in a way that most people are going to feel out. So like I'm not going to be able to get FD'd and say, oh, okay, well, I would have won there, like from like a far away place, you know? Up closer, it's different because you have access to different frame traps if they FD'd a certain thing. Regardless, this change kind of sucks for Goldlewis, but it also kind of sucks for everybody's offense in general. The first thing I would say is probably Soul suffers the worst from that, but successful faultless defense now causes a set amount of knockback. This one hurts. So the way I see this is that FDing someone's meaty is going to be very, very strong from now on, including guard crush meaties. So this is kind of spooky to me because I think 2P into close slash as a meaty option was very, very strong for Goldlewis. And now if the knockback is increased, you might not be able to get a close slash after. You might get like a far slash. Additionally, and we'll go over these changes in a second, this also might mess with the 268 HS into close slash meaty. That also just might not exist anymore. And that's really scary because I loved that meaty and it was great for like catching backdashes and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of scary for me. But next, Guard Crush. The knockback caused by instant block and flawless defense will now change when guard crushed by the opponent's attack. This sucks. This really, really sucks for Goldlewis. He heavily relied on being able to stay in when people FD. And the way you would counter people FDing is by just going behemoth into behemoth into behemoth. Now it seems like people are going to have like a bona fide way to get Goldlewis out, which sounds very, very scary. Fortunately, we have a Twitter video here with us. Boom. So this isn't Goldlewis, but it's Potemkin, a different guard crush move. And yeah, you're not going to like what you see here. I guess there's no audio. Gruda into Gruda into Gruda. So this is a good thing, right? Like you look at this as a Goldlewis main, you're like, or sorry, you look at this as a Strive player and you're like, yes, Pog, look how far Potemkin's getting pushed out. I don't have to eat this string and just guess with jump, right? But as a Goldlewis player, this is tough to see. And now you're about to see the top-down comparison. So we have the previous version of the game, the current version that we're all playing, and the new version. And you're going to see how much more it's pushed back. So this creates a, like, really, like... Oh. All right, let's go back to that image. I'm really scared of this change. I think this could possibly be the end of Goldlewis. And, wow. Okay, so imagine if after every single Behemoth Typhoon, you had to take a step back, right? Put that into your head. So every Behemoth Typhoon you do, you're going to get pushed farther and farther away. And eventually, that'll be the end of your pressure. The reason this is so scary is because Goldlewis's character archetype is supposed to be that guy that really struggles to get in. But once he gets in, he can stay in. And he pretty much just effectively gets turn after turn after turn. And the opponent has to hard guess. And if they guess wrong, they can take massive, massive damage. It seems like Goldlewis's turns are going to be heavily messed with here. So let's talk about what this is going to affect, right? This is going to affect follow-ups on Behemoth Typhoons when blocked, right? So like some of the things that we initially did, like close slash and the quick overhead into 2D as a frame trap, the 2D might just whiff now, which is scary because that's like the best frame trap for that situation. And what this isn't going to affect is people getting hit by highs or lows or frame traps. So as long as you're continuously killing people with that, then you know you're not going to feel the changes with Goldlewis. But the problem is that people don't really fall for these things anymore because people realize that Goldlewis's real strengths aren't opening you up with highs and lows. Goldlewis's real strength is being able to like stay in and just continuously chip you out to death. And yeah, this creates heavy implications for the strength of Goldlewis's offense moving forward. So when an attack hits an opponent, a guard crush animation, the attack is treated as first move in the combo. Not sure what that means. Next, we have the actual Goldlewis's changes, right? So we know that Goldlewis's offense should take a big hit here, right? So let's see what they compensated him with. So using an aerial Behemoth Typhoon from an air dash allows him to move an extremely long distance. So it's hard to put this... It's hard to think about how this is going to play out in game. What scares me is that, I'm sure you guys have used aerial Behemoth Typhoons before, is that you are not plus when you block these really high, right? Most of the time, you are heavily minus, even punishable. So even if I'm able to move a really, really long distance, and I'm able to like make them block something, unless I have meter to convert that into a block string, then I can't really do anything with it, right? Of course, if you hit them, you get the hard knockdown and you're really happy. But I assume this is going to be something that's reactable when you see a massive Goldlewis flying across the screen, right? Like Chip or something with his alpha blade in the air. I figure people are going to be able to see that, block it, and then punish you if you do it too high. It's going to be strange how they implement this. So the way I was contextualizing it before, I said like you can fly in, you get them to block the Behemoth, use RC, and you're in there, right? That sounds like a cool option. But the thing is that we already have Burn It Down, right? Where we can use the laser. We're already using 1 meter to get the opponent close to us. So this seems like it might be just like an unnecessary tool that will be really fun to use. And I'm all about fun. But it may not help us in the way that people, or I shouldn't say people, that the Strive devs expect it to. Okay, what does it say next? Which combined with the changes to his forward dash hurt box significantly improves his ability to approach from distance. Okay, so his dash hurt box, they're talking about on the ground, just, you know, not the aerial dash. I assume they mean maybe like, oh my god, my voice cracked. I assume they're talking about how like chemical love can hit him, but that's not during dash. You can actually dash under that. I wonder what they mean by that. I haven't really felt the effect of that. Maybe I haven't, I just haven't noticed it. Or maybe I just attributed that to playing a big body, but I expect that that's not going to be a change that you feel. It's just going to be like a quality of life thing. Anyways, this next change is kind of big. As Skyfish was previously safer to use at low security level, it is now possible to cancel the animation with an additional input to address this issue. This sounds like another cool change, another fun change, like you can use the gap more neutral to chip people out or whatever. But once again, I don't know if this actually helps his neutral, right? Because you're not getting a hard knockdown off of anything besides a level 3 security level. And if you're using that full screen, then you can't even actually like take a close slash turn from that. So I'm confused with the way that they're changing Goldlewis. Finally, the reduction of its startup makes it more powerful in both neutral and combos. I guess we're going to see how fast the new startup is to see how cool it is. I really like that they also say end combos. That, you know, I kind of a picture of my head of Goldlewis pulling at a coffin, swinging it around, pulling out the gat, and then like he pulls back another coffin, and then he supers with his 1080. Like in my head, that sounds really, really cool. And he already can kind of do that in the corner, but you know, maybe we have more optimal routes using the gat now. You know, that sounds really cool. So let's talk about, we already talked about the dash. Crouching P, reduced startup. Love to see this. It's currently a 6-frame normal with also just like the smallest range in the entire game. Actually incredible how they made a normal so bad. I'm hoping that this is a 4-framer. Most likely it's just a 5-framer, but I'm really glad this thing got a buff. It's going to feel a lot nicer when challenging certain things. Next, 6P now makes the opponent float higher. This is a universal change for the most part. They want you to get more reward off 6P. Hopefully this fixes some of the situations where you 6P someone with Goldlewis and it's not counter hit, and then you just can't 6-8 4H Typhoon afterwards, like won't let you confirm. That really, really sucks. Next, Aerial Behemoth Typhoons. We talked about this, but so yeah, you know, trajectory now changes when activating a set movement speed. Initially, when I read this, I thought that each of these were gonna have different trajectories. This is not the case. They're just saying that when activating whatever, the counter hit state now ends when active frames do. They're like small changes you won't really notice until you play the game. Next, the Skyfish. We talked about this. Reduced startup when activating at a security level above 2 can now be canceled. And finally, Burn It Down, increased clash level. I'm not sure. I've never seen Burn It Down clash in any way. I don't really know what this means. It's probably some kind of quality of life or a specific interaction. Anyways, let's get my final thoughts on this, right? So, contextualizing all these changes in my head, Goldlewis is the kind of character that struggles to get in, or as he currently is. He's the character that struggles to get in, gets in, and gets ridiculously high reward, right? And the changes that they're putting into the game make it seem like they want his reward to be way, way less. And I don't know if the neutral options that they gave him are going to be worth the offense that he lost in the end. But hopefully I'm wrong about this. But as it currently stands, I consider this to be a Goldlewis nerf. And I don't mind Goldlewis being nerfed, as long as the changes that they did add to Goldlewis make the character more fun to play, or give him some different ways to play the character in general. I really look forward to seeing how this character plays out, as well as how it plays out like contextualized with the rest of the cast. I was thinking about matchups in my head because I was looking at the chart that Leffen tweeted out, and it was like every character in the game got buffed, but Chip and Axel both got nerfed. And I was like, oh, matchup wise, that's gonna be sick. Chip and Axel both getting nerfed, great. That means you know, I might win some more games. And then in my head I'm like, wait, so if wait. So I already struggle to get an Axel, but at least when I get it on Axel, I win. Now if like Axel built up meter while keeping me out, by the time I get in, he can just FD and keep me out as long as he blocks those highs and lows. So yeah, I'm scared, but I cannot wait to play this patch. And regardless of what happens, I'm going to be continuing playing Strive. I'm going to continue playing Goldlewis. And more than anything, I just love that the Strive devs are consistently patching this game. I don't mind what they do with it. Just keep things fresh, keep things entertaining for me. You know, thank you, Arxis. I really do appreciate it. And that's all I've got. So if you guys have any questions, or if you have different thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. Also consider subscribing to the channel, checking my Twitter, check out the other links in the subscription, or in the description, sorry. And most importantly, have a great day. Bye-bye.